Cradled proudly on the banks of the River Thames in the bustling city of London lies the Tower of London. A testament to the ages, its storied walls brimming with the weight of history. Today it remains a captivating destination, renowned for its iconic Beefeaters, otherwise known as Yeoman warders, and the dazzling crown jewels like the majestic orb and the scepter. But what if I told you that this tower is also the most haunted place in Great Britain? You heard that right. These walls have a lot to offer, and most of it are the spirits of the people whose lives were cut short inside these walls. When William the Conqueror plopped a massive stone fortress right in the heart of his London stronghold in the 1070s, the defeated citizens of London must have been left gobsmacked. Fast forward almost 1,000 years, and the tower still has the ability to mesmerize and give you the heebie-jeebies. As the mightiest castle in the land, the tower didn't just protect the royal bling, but also kept the royal family safe during times of trouble and rebellion. And guess what? For a jaw-dropping 500 years, the monarchs also used the tower as a rather fancy palace. Throughout history, the tower has stood as a symbol of both admiration and dread, as kings and queens locked up their enemies inside those formidable walls. The stories of these prisoners, whether rich or poor, continue to haunt the tower's hallways. But how did it all start? Back in the 1070s, fresh off his victory but still cautious of rebellion, William the Conqueror decided to build a colossal stone fortress in London to flex his royal muscles and make a statement. This architectural marvel had never been seen before in England. William wanted to not only dominate the city's skyline, but also rule over the conquered Londoners. Hats off to his patience, because it took about 20 years to finish the tower. Craftsmen were brought in from Normandy, lugging stones all the way from Caen, France. But most of the hard labor was done by English folks. With walls thicker than a Shakespearean folio, measuring a mind-boggling 15 feet, and a stunning collection of over 20 towers, the tower has faithfully guarded the monarchy through royal successions, civil unrest, and bloody wars. Ironically, while the tower aimed to rule the city, it often failed to protect the kings and queens who sought shelter within its walls. Nowadays, thanks to the loyal Yeoman warders, the tower attracts hordes of curious tourists eager to catch a glimpse of the crown jewels or explore the chambers where many unfortunate souls met their grisly end at the hands of the executioner. Throughout the reigns of different monarchs, the tower has endured the test of time, conspiracy, war, and peace. The people who lived within its walls, nobles, courtiers, clergy, and commoners, had to deal with living in constant fear, haunted by the ghosts of the past, and secrets whispered by vengeful souls. History tells us that monarchs, in their quest to hold on to power, couldn't afford to be lenient when their throne was at stake, whether it was due to mere gossip or undeniable evidence. More often than not, heads rolled under the executioner's axe, and countless lives were lost on Tower Hill. Inside the tower's confines, executions, imprisonments, and murders were everyday occurrences. By the end of the 16th century, the tower had become more of a prison and government office than a royal residence. There are countless tales of spooky apparitions that are said to haunt its halls, grounds, and majestic towers. Is it any wonder? One of those spooky tales is the story of Sir Thomas à Becket, Henry II's trusted pal, found himself locked up for not backing the king against the Roman Catholic Church. In 1170, 3 assassins brutally stabbed him in his own cathedral. 3 years later, Becket's ghost, fueled by vengeance, demolished a tower and gatehouse being built with his crozier. Now let's talk about Henry VI. He met a tragic end, stabbed while praying in Wakefield Tower on May 21, 1471. Rumor has it the Duke of Gloucester, future Richard III, orchestrated the hit. On the anniversary of his death, Henry's ghost appears outside the oratory, kneeling in penance before vanishing into the stone. Spooky stuff. Now prepare yourself for a tale that will tug at your heartstrings and send chills down your spine. The Tower of London, with its rich history and haunting secrets, holds one of its most heart-wrenching stories, starring the little princes. Now imagine that it's the year 1483, a time of political intrigue and power struggles. 13-year-old Edward V and his younger brother Richard, Duke of York, are placed under the care of their Uncle Richard, Duke of Gloucester. Little did they know, old Uncle Richard had his eyes locked on the throne, and he cooked up a dastardly plan to secure his power. Under the guise of preparing for young Edward's coronation, their mother Elizabeth Woodville sends them off to the Tower. But here's the sinister twist. Sir James Tyrrell, a loyal servant of Richard, later spilled the beans, confessing that his cronies suffocated one of the boys and stabbed the other to death. Their lifeless bodies were then buried beneath a heap of rubble in the basement, their resting place a mystery for nearly 2 centuries. Fast forward to 1674, when renovations were underway at the Tower. Workers made a spine-chilling discovery. The skeletons of 2 children were found under a staircase. The bones were believed to be the remains of the little princes, finally revealing their tragic fate. To this day, their spirits, clad in night clothes, cling to each other in fear near the bloody tower and the room where they were held captive. Visitors and guards have reported eerie sightings and unexplained phenomena, as if the little princes cannot rest in peace. Now, let's dive into the tragic tale of Anne Boleyn, the young maid of honor with the rumored extra finger. Back in 1533, she secretly tied the knot with none other than the infamous King Henry VIII himself. But, alas, when she couldn't produce a male heir, her luck took a tumble. Accused of adultery and treason, poor Anne found herself locked away in the Queen's house, a prisoner within the Tower's formidable walls, for a grueling 18 days before her execution. On that fateful day in 1536, Tower Green witnessed a French swordsman expertly separating Anne's head from her body. And here's where things get really eerie. Witnesses claimed that even after her head was detached, her eyes and mouth continued to twitch and move. Talk about a haunting experience. Such a bizarre occurrence has left many in awe and wonder, questioning the supernatural forces at play within the Tower's confines. Anne's final resting place is the Tower Chapel of St. Peter ad Vincula, a solemn and sacred location. But her regal spirit doesn't stay put. Oh no, she has been spotted strolling through the tower and its grounds, sometimes with a head, sometimes without. And she's not alone. She leads a spectral parade of lords and ladies, a ghostly procession that captures the imagination and sends shivers down the spines of those who witness it. Catherine Howard, the unfortunate cousin of Anne and Henry VIII's 5th wife, faced a similar destiny. Accused of treason and adultery, her tormented wails and cries still reverberate through the haunted gallery, a spooky corridor linking the chapel to the state apartments. As a ghostly apparition, she roams the dimly lit halls, clad in white, desperately pleading for help and mercy. Talk about a haunting tale that sends shivers down your spine. The Tower of London stands tall, a timeless symbol that commands attention. Are you brave enough to venture into its depth? Beware the mournful cries of traitors, the desperate pleas for mercy, and the swift, merciless acts. Tread carefully, lest you too become forever condemned.